The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American Stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
Here are the scenarios for the individual championship title at the Major League Show Jumping Final at Desert International Horse Park. Kent Farrington and Erin Ballard are the hot favourites to take the individual championship title, and a win for both of those would seal them the individual championship. Ashley Bond is another rider to watch. A win here could see her take the championship if Kent Farrington is 4th or lower and Erin Ballard is 3rd or lower, and she is looking like one to watch following that great win in Monterey. Keep an eye too on Vanessa Mannix. She's sitting just behind Ashley Bond in the overall season standings, and she'll also be keen for a good result here this week. For long shot title are Carl Cook, Nick Pizarro, Natalie Dean, and last year's overall individual champion Paul O'Shea. Each of those riders would need a win here this week. They also would need Kent Farrington to be 9th or worse, Erin Ballard to be 10th or worse, and Ashley Bond to be 5th or worse. Can't count out the likes of Amy Miller, Bliss Hears, and Daniel Coyle, who of course took the 5-star Grand Prix win here last week. Those riders would need a win, and they need Kent Farrington to be 10th or worse, they'd need Erin Ballard to be 9th or worse, and they would need Ashley Bond to be 6th or worse to be crowned champion. Well, as we all know, anything can happen in the sport of show jumping, and some outsiders who could potentially still take the win are the likes of Dara Kenny, Lily Keenan, Jacqueline Steffens, Jordan Coyle, and Kristen Van der Veen. Those riders, though, would need a win this week, and they need quite a bit of help from the results of the other riders to take the championship title. It is absolutely anyone's game here in the final of Major League Show Jumping 2022. Watch it all live on MLSJ TV.
When every second counts, the surface matters. Premier Equestrian features Pro-Tex footing product and Auto Sport base mats. Mats absorb up to 40% of the concussion. Pro-Tex provides maximum stability. Premier Equestrian is the official footing partner of Major League Show Jumping. Contact us about your arena at premierequestrian.com.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall & Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. Unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall & Sterling for horse deaths. And I have to say that Marshall & Sterling has been an amazing, amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall & Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
And also during the $450,000 FEI 5-star the Major League Show Jumping Grand Prix this afternoon, well, this evening, in fact, we do have the Urites Village Jump for the Village fundraiser, and that is going on. Portion of all drink purchases at Roadrunners Tiki Bar goes to Urites Village, as well as Dahlman Jump Company built a custom Urites Village fence to be part of the first round of the Grand Prix, and individuals and groups, and they can choose how much to pledge for each time. Rider clears the fence in round number 1. Also, additional donations can be made through pledge cards located at the bar and throughout the VIP, as well as the Urites Village table inside the VIP. Going down onto the field, and I will turn the microphone over to explain a little bit more about the Urites Village Jump for the Village fundraiser.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lindsay Archer, and I'm honored to be standing here tonight with Jennifer Crooks, the visionary and founder of Urites Village. For those of you that don't know her, Jennifer has been a member of our equestrian community for decades, and frequently a member of the Irish Nations Cup teams with her superstar mare, Urati. In 2014, Jennifer started Urites Village in Sodo, Ethiopia. Thanks to Jennifer's incredible dreams and energy of her and her team, Urites Village continues to expand in both size and offerings. Currently, the project has saved over 200 children's lives. Urites Village is a thriving example of what community support can create anywhere in the world. And I'm grateful to say that this equestrian community has been the driving force behind the success of her dreams. 6 years ago, my husband and I began sponsoring a young boy named Alabo. His picture hung on our refrigerator, and every year I would post the update from Jennifer and her team of his newest accomplishments. While we haven't yet been able to take the trek to Sodo ourselves, a good friend of ours, Carrie Potter, has a daughter who has. Unfortunately, Carrie is homesick, but she has some words that she would like me to share for her. Good evening. Urites Village has been a part of my life and heart for many years. The magical, nurturing, loving space that Jennifer and her team have created for these beautiful orphan children has been a journey filled with gratitude. My daughter Cece was lucky enough to volunteer at the village this past summer. She came home a changed person. The unconditional love that she received and was able to give to the children opened her heart and her mind beyond what she thought was possible. For something as small as a Christmas pajama to something as large as new classrooms, living spaces, and a new equine project, your donations will change these children's lives forever, and yours as well, I promise. Thank you so much for the support, Carrie. While our greatest hope is that each and every one of you might find a way to help, tonight you have a great and fun opportunity to help during this class. Please join us in the Jump for the Village. The children and those who love them will be so grateful.
Thank you, Lindsay. Of course. On behalf of the children of Urites Village, I just want to share heartfelt gratitude to the Desert International Horse Park and the incredible team behind them. The support of this opportunity has been amazing. Also, a very special thank you to the equestrian community who has truly made the world a smaller place by welcoming in the orphaned children of Ethiopia. The impact you have on these children is truly life-saving. Thank you. Now I would like to direct your attention to the screen to learn more about the children we serve together. Thank you.
Welcome to Urites Village, Ethiopia.
We are so excited to share this project with you.
In 2014, I founded Urites Village. The vision I had was for a family-style village for orphaned children with a strong connection to the local community and based around the principles of permaculture.
Urites Village is really international NGO. It is orphanage. We started really with 21 children, and then at this moment in our hand, 91 children that we are taking care of.
All of our children attend school, either within the local Sodo community or at the beautiful new Montessori school recently completed on site at Urites Village.
In order to address each child's individual needs, we created the Child Sponsorship Program. 100% of the child sponsorship funds go directly towards each child's education, healthcare, and specific developmental needs.
I have a big thanks and appreciation for our donors. Our kids at this moment, they are so happy and healthy.
Many children at Urati's village have special needs, and those needs are being addressed with specific medical care as well as physical and occupational therapy.
We never expected that our kids are speaking English, but the village is provided for them a good teacher.
What's your favorite food? Okay, next question. Finally, I'm here.
My name is Negatu Haile and I live in Urati's village.
The children and staff at Urati's village are truly like a large family.
We eat together and we play together and we go school together, so that's mean family. I love them and I love them so much.
It's a little bit of a larger family than most people are used to. So it does take a bit of encouragement to make sure that everybody's voices are being heard. So one of the things that I really try to do myself is to make myself available to all the kids whenever they need to talk about something or have something that's bothering them. We need to make sure that they have input into what their life is going to be like. And when that input is allowed to take place, when the children are advocating for themselves, everybody just has a much better time. It's so much easier when there's such strong communication.
My name is Wonmu and I'm 16 years old. I've been here for 6 years and I'm really grateful to live here, the support and the educations, the foods, like everything.
Some people ask, why are we using permaculture as our guide in our designs here for this orphanage? And often what I tell them is that it's because we're working with nature. And when we work with nature rather than push against her, we start to find that the production that we're developing, not only is it healthier, so like the plants we're growing have more nutrition, we also create an environment that can buffer climate extremes. Many of the children who are going to be leaving this facility when they finally grow to adulthood, or if they get adopted, could bring the skills of agriculture into their daily life.
The village is expanding. Our new land will provide space for additional homes for the children, an area for livestock and additional agriculture, a physical therapy and medical center, our Montessori school, and a library with a technology center.
The new site is not just an expansion of facilities and infrastructure, but it's an expansion of places that kids can be in a more natural setting.
Urati's village maintains a strong connection to the local community and government. Our outreach programs include support for individuals with special needs, a school sponsorship program, and a highly successful local adoption program.
We're incredibly grateful to you for your continued support of Urati's village.
Thank you for watching our video. We really appreciate you all.
Well, again, very good evening and welcome to the final Grand Prix of the season
for the Village
for
fundraiser
Major
that
League
is going on
jumping
tonight.
Here at the Desert Horse
donate
Park. It's
as
the
well.
Marshall and Sterling
$450,000 on FEI five-star Major League show jumping. This competition wraps up the Major League show jumping 2020 season with this competition kind of presented by Marshall and Sterling. Marshall and Sterling's EcoSport division specializes in personalized plans that encompass a full range of extensive equine, farm, and ranch
overall
insurance
league individual championship. Kent Farrington and Orofina after a good win last night. Ashley Bond, Donatello, the Olympian for Israel. Mavis Spencer just back from Nations Cup duty for Team USA. Goes fifth in the order so far. A Grand Prix winner already this season, Bliss Hears and Antidote Damas in that first group of 10. Seeing around the 30 mark in total for the class. Californian Carl Cook for the USA with Kalinka, Hampton Classic winner this season. Canadian Olympian Tiffany Foster and Hamilton. Grand Prix winner last week, Daniel Coyle and Legacy. Another Olympian in Nick Pizarro for Mexico. It is Californian Matt Archer, Natalie Dean, Erin Ballard of Canada, Lily Keenan, winner in Monterey, and Mark Watering of Puerto Rico joining with Limbosini RC. Makes up our first 21 of the order for this class here tonight. Then taking us into the final run of those competing, we see Rodrigo Lamre for Brazil, another medalist from the Pan Am Games. Many-time five-star winner, Ireland's Derek Kenny, this time with Volney de Boisdeville. Jordan Coyle winning here last year with Ariso, goes 26th. And then to top three finisher last week, Canada's Sean Jobin and Darius, finishing off with another now California-based rider, this time Caitlin Campbell and Amir for the USA. So that's the lineup for round one of this $450,000 Marshall & Sterling Grand Prix here tonight. And with that, we also take a little look at the course of what to expect. Alan Wade, our course designer here this week, and the Irishman setting the standards once again for the man who built the courses at the last, well, the World Championships back in 2018. On the line of 1 to 2 to the CP fence at 2, on the 8 strides down there, a 160 oxer to get to that point, rolling back to another of those, just short of 160 at the vertical Cabana Coast at 3. In front of the VIP area at 4 to an oxer there, on then to a big double at 160 spread on the way in, 155 on a 1-stride distance on the way out. Triple bar coming up at fence 6 on a 4-stride distance down to 7, which sits also just short of the 160 mark. A little style there that could catch you out. And then on the far side from the in-gate, 8 to 9 on the 5 strides from the Major League fence down to the Gold Horses heads at the next oxer at a 160 spread. Triple combination across the centre to the Major League fences there with 2 strides and 1 stride, and on the way out a 150 high, 160 wide oxer, and then on to fence 11 on another related distance at full up to height 160. The Marshall & Sterling fence, our presenting sponsor here tonight. Then to the butterflies, a rollback there on the right rein to fence 12. And then still quite a bit to go in this course with 13 on the related line down there. Looks like 5 strides down there to the next to the vertical, sort of full at 160. And fence 14, the last on the track, to the Desert Horse Park oxer to finish off with a spread of 1.65 meters. So nothing given away here tonight. It is going to be a big track for this, and getting set also for the singing of the national anthem too. Going to welcome our singer just to bring you to the time allowed. That's going to be 81 seconds. And in a moment, welcoming out to sing the national anthem, Dr. Tara Peterson, who's been a fixture of the West Coast show jumping circuit and also a custom jewellery designer, performer, and has just launched a YouTube channel with her own brand of uplifting inspiration called The Daily Oracle, to sing today the national anthem as we start proceedings here at the Desert Horse Park.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of love
In we go to competition then of this $450,000 Marshall and Sterling Grand Prix here tonight. 81 seconds, the time allowed, as we saw a lineup of over 30 to go in the first round of this class. Under the lights here in the desert, but it is going to be a hot night of competition. We know that. Massive money on the prize line. And also to bring in, we're going to have the individual final decided of the overall series as well. So set to go into commentary. In fact, I'm joined by Eugenio Garza to take us through the Mexican Olympian rider, many-time winner on Nations Cups, whole host of wins, and this season on the winning team for Team Helios for the team championship as well. You guys must be pretty elated still.
It was a pretty good week, I have to say. Yeah, Major League was fun.
Well, we're getting into the fun of this one. Luis Pedro Biraben, a good experienced rider, team silver medalist previously at the Pan Am Games with well-experienced Chaco Bumpy. Won a Grand Prix in Lexington in May this year. And you and I were just talking, Alan Wade, our course designer here, really good, depending on which side of the fence you're sitting on, just little things in the course that will catch you out. It really takes detail when you look at Alan's courses.
Yeah, I think he's one of those course designers that today he's setting the standards of what it means to be a course designer. He's, you know, I think we'll see rails fall all over the place. He's clever with his angles, 3 to 4. We just saw Luis Pedro do a very nice angle from the double to the triple bar. I think it's going to be a very interesting course for these riders to tackle.
Well, good experience combination, as we said, to send them out here. Triple combination going to come across the center. What were your thoughts when you walked this one?
I think it's big. It's technical. Like I said, the angles are going to come into play. That triple is going to jump very careful. It's 2 tall verticals coming in and then a test coming out. Scopy test to a very short 6 strides to a tall vertical with a Liverpool underneath. So, you know, tests all over the place. Long course, 14 jumps. I think the horses will get tired at the end. No doubt a worthy test for the Major League final.
Absolutely. So this is the last. That's fence 14. He's going to have time in there as well with that time at 81 seconds. So going to take them to a total of 12 overall. So they bring in the time faults there as well. Here we see them at the triple combination. So 12 for Luis Pedro Biraben and Chaco Bumpy. As you say, it's a long way around. 14 jumping fences in there. And what's that going to put them at about 17 jumping efforts at least around this course?
Yeah, long course, and he takes you all over the ring. I mean, he touches all 4 corners of the ring. So, so yeah, they definitely have to be in their game today.
Well, from the rider who's been to several big championships to a new face on the scene, and that's Tali de Jong with Valiant to Bellevue. Her first season onto the 5-star level with Major League here, with the combination that is the mare, which is by Colin Duplessis. And now Tali, for her, she's been getting really good mileage this season, and this is probably going to be one of the toughest tracks they've jumped this season.
Yeah, she's definitely been getting valuable experience. She was down in the Mexico tour as well, had very good rounds there. So just the continuation of Mexico and then the 2 weeks here in the great, you know, the venue that we have, I think she's going to benefit a lot.
Yeah, none of those riders have done most of their jumping up to now up onto the west coast here. Roll back here to 3, as we said, you know, very early on it gets you into a full-on 160 vertical.
And on a rollback.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of like when those come up early because you get to kind of set the tone for your round. And Tali did that very well. Unfortunately, a rail coming down and a big oxer with a water tray down there to a tricky line. But overall, a very nice round so far.
Talking about the lines coming up here, we've got the wall coming into play now. I think most of you got used to the wall now, but it's how it's set like this, and it just flicks away very easily.
Yeah, it's a scary wall, to be quite honest. We've seen it all year long, and it's one of those lines that just, you know, it walks one way, but it just completely, you know, it could be a completely different way when you're in the ring, depending on how your horse jumps.
Well, Tali just taking a circle here. Say for the 22-year-old, this is her one of her biggest challenges of the season. But this is where, and you've been through this. You're still early in your mid-20s at this point, but you know, you have to get used to this level too.
Yeah, and she's doing a good job. I mean, just simple mistakes that I'm sure she's going to be able to correct. She's got a bright future up ahead with great horses and great training. So not the last time we're going to see Tali in one of these classes.
Yeah, this is really the key bit, isn't it? Getting a nice confident finish to this. Just get a good few fences behind them, and that was a good solid rounding off.
Yeah, you can't replicate being in the show ring, so you know it's miles under the saddle, and you know she'll be okay and come back.
Yeah, it takes a circle in there, so it makes the score look a bit bigger with the time faults in there as well to take them to 37 in total, 97-66. So say a good chunk of that is time as well for Talia de Jong there and Valiant to Bellevue. But overall, not a bad round, and say plenty to take away from that. So you get now to commentate on one of your teammates from Helios this season. She was the winner of the Grand Prix in San Miguel back to October of this year. She's been a brilliant performer. Last year was on the podium in San Miguel as well. Lovely combination, as we know, if you've been following the sport, and I know many have. Antidote to Mars, in now by De Montesemi, the mare for Bliss Hears from Las Vegas, Nevada. A super horse, super rider, and I'm sure has been a terrific teammate this season.
It's been a real pleasure to jump with Bliss. This combination, I think, is a very strong combination, one of the strongest in the field. She brought it home for Team Helios on Thursday, and yeah. I'm sure she's going to try to do the same in this Grand Prix. Amazing horse. You know, won the San Miguel Grand Prix outright. Very, very good jump off there.
Up against your other teammate, Carl Cook.
Which is coming up soon, so a lot of Team Helios in the first few half.
Now, here, this line, what were your thoughts walking down this one?
I think in that line, the key is there to... Oh, that came down, unfortunately. Yeah. The key right there, I think, is just to get in there slowing down. It's a very square oxer and a very tall vertical coming out. Unfortunately, that comes down to a tall, skinny.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll back on what you just said. You said, come in there slowing down. You thought, well, hang on, if I'm going to a big fence, I want to be speeding up. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're right, but at the same time, you got to get the balance of the horse back and make sure that he's not running at the fence, because he's not only got one oxer to clear, he's got a tall vertical coming out. So I think you got to balance him up, and you know, I think Bliss there did a great job of balancing there to a vertical.
Get the power back underneath
exactly.
you.
Get him underneath you and get that jump ready. Fortunately, he's not going to be Bliss's day, but I mean, the horse is amazing, jumping well, and she's riding great. Just unfortunate mistakes.
Yeah, going to finish on the 8 there, 82.74. So again, just touches over the time allowed for Bliss. Here's an Antidote to Mars. It looks like we're still going to sit at that 81, I think, which is probably still a fair time for this.
Yeah, it's quite tight. I mean, we have all three of them over the time, so it's definitely something to keep in mind.
It's pressure, though.
Well,
it's an extra pressure.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Bliss Here's their heads out on a total of 10, so 10-12 being the best scores so far. Let's head on to Juan Ortiz now of Venezuela and Vintage. The mare by Verdi for Juan, and it's been his first season with this horse into these big classes, moving up into this 5-star Grand Prix here. Placed the Tryon Grand Prix throughout 2022 and a previous World Championship rider into 2018 as well. But it's a horse that's got plenty of jump, but again, they've just got to keep the movement here. And again, this is a horse that's just going to be getting used to more of these big classes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Juan has a challenge here to get under the time allowed, because the horse is a slow-moving horse, and we've already seen that the time is quite tight. So far, so good, but I think he needs to definitely pick it up.
Gets high there, recovers. And again, can just really use the scope. The horse can almost step through that line.
It's difficult to ride these courses where it's, you know, a lot of connected things, short angles to difficult lines. So I think now is where he really needs to get in there, and he's not really cooperating that much, but so far a very good round.
Still on a good run at the moment. You say just time they're going to have to be conscious of here from this point of view. Just a little touch on the vertical, but again, there is no shortage of scope going into this, but needs to maybe make up a little bit of ground here somewhere. 81 being that time allowed. We're already at 72, 73. Needs a fast scuttle through the last few.
I don't think he's going to make it.
Get there.
And I hope he's under the 4 seconds, because that would mean I don't think so, no.
Yeah. 85.68 puts them on 5 there for Juan Ortiz and Vintage, but again, a pairing progressing in the right direction. Just got hung up on a couple of those fences there.
Yeah, definitely progressing. It's been jumping good rounds. This was, you know, a great round. I think as you get to know these horses and at this height, you can kind of find your way to save and shed a second here, a second there. He's delighted.
And that's what I said. I think you'll be happy enough with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Juan, you know, is a great guy to be around. Very outspoken. Wears his emotions on his sleeve, which is great.
You know what he's thinking. Put it that way. There's no hesitation about that. Lovely to see Californian Mavis Spencer then joining us, the US rider with Carissimo. And for the next of those to go, Georgie Muskie-Segerman, who's been a super supporter. She's just back from Europe as well, where they've been competing over in the Nations Cups there over into Portugal and Spain. This is a 9-year-old by Cascadello, but has jumped some really lovely rounds so far this season for Mavis. So looking forward to see how this one steps up. But again, this I think is their first big five-star Grand Prix like this.
Yeah, I really like this horse. Mavis has done an amazing job with it. Very stylish horse in his jump. Like you said, went over to Europe, had a great time over there in the Nations Cup. I believe it was Spain, maybe?
Yeah, Spain and Portugal, yeah.
Spain and Portugal.
Olivar and then to
and I know that Mavis really liked that and had a great time over there. So I think it did well for this combination.
And exactly, and that should give you confidence going into this as well, that step up.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said earlier, I think getting in the ring, these classes, that's the only way to put miles under yourself and the horse. So very nice horse, jumping very well so far.
Nice shot down the line. Mavis, who's worked with some of the best riders in the world throughout her career, built up her own yard. And just unfortunately, it doesn't work out at the wall. He's not going to be able to recover from that one. But just that moment's hesitation, that's where it puts the danger in there. And again, as you said, it's quite a scary wall to look at. You know, there's a lot to look at, a lot of colour. You're not one you're not used to. You just start backing off it and get in trouble. But there we go, back and running.
Back and running, yeah. That was unfortunate. I think maybe caught Mavis a little bit by surprise. Maybe she thought that the horse was going to take off there. But glad to see it back on our way.
And then the nice thing is here, seeing them back in a calm, even rhythm, rolling around the rest of this track.
It's always very nice to see Mavis ride. You know, I think she came up the traditional equitation.
Yeah.
Or at least she rides like she's done equitation. I don't know if she's done equitation.
As I say, she's worked with some of the best riders in the world. She's done all the jobs. She's worked her way to the top, done brilliantly. Just unfortunately, she doesn't quite work out there. But I say another step up for this horse. But look at it there. It looks really nice.
One for the future.
Yeah, one for the future. Just 9 years of age there, but just gets all sorts of stuck at the wall there, I'm afraid, but recovers. She's just got not enough space there with only a 4-stride distance to get to that. They'd have been coming off about 2 strides, and so has to take a circle. So that puts some time on it as well for Mavis Spencer and Carissimo 25. On the 5 then, the best score at this moment is One Ortiz and Vintage, but we're back on to the next of the riders for Israel, but also is on the team for Team Helios. And she's running the ring the same way she's running the team. Yeah.
Yeah, Ashley's a great rider, even better person.
Yeah.
Brought it home again for Team Helios Thursday night, which you know, all 3 of them were spot on.
And of course, we saw her winning the Grand Prix in Monterey. Those that were following down there the second week there, a lovely emotional win for her as well. You know, a lot going on in her life at the moment, and it was a real lift for Ash there. And then to finish off with a team win here for you guys, you know, it's put a good bit of bounce back in the step.
Absolutely. I mean, Ashley's such a strong person. She's, you know, you wouldn't know if you didn't really know her that close how much she's been going through. But, you know, great to see her doing so well. Had a great night Thursday and said the horse felt better than ever. So
let's talk Donnie. Fast, always fast. It's the way she always rides this horse. I mean, we were in Tokyo, and even remember the warm-up rounds there. They rode at this speed. It just goes at this speed.
Yeah, and I think that's also Ashley. She loves the speed, and this is one of those horses that thrives under that you know, rhythm.
That's gone. It's a sneaky, I won't say little wall, it's a big wall, but it's sneaky little bricks on top.
That's too bad. I mean, the way he set it up to into the corner, it really makes you you know.
Thanks, Alan.
Yeah. But that's Alan. You know, he tests you in every way possible.
But that's what's good with his courses. They're clever.
Yeah. And I don't think Ashley's going to have time
No.
faults here. So if she keeps it up, I think we're going to see the best score so far.
Well, and in the last few big Grand Prix as well, 4 faults has put you in the money. So again, she's going to be conscious of that one from that point of view. Get yourself in with potentially some cash here too.
The last Grand Prix have been definitely tough in
Yeah.
the Major League. They've made them work for their money. She's going to beat herself up after that because that was such a... You don't see Donnie make that mistake very often.
Just going to finish on the fourth. Best score on the board so far, 78-44 for Ashley Bond and Donatello. Close, but not quite from that point of view. But no clears yet. But I think, as you say, 4 faults is going to be in the money here. So let's head on to another of the flags tonight, and that is again for Mexico, Adora Parada and Bacot. Another one that had a good run in the classes down in Monterrey as well. And for him, it's been good for him to get the exposure in the last few weeks into these big classes too, to get that chance. Because, you know, again, now into North America, going into Mexico, and even into Canada, it's given a few more of those 5-star Grand Prix to be able to be match fit for. You've been to an Olympics and to championships and things. You need that to stay match ready.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this league has helped the sport down in Mexico as a whole, because you get to bring these sorts of 5-star and this level of show jumping there, which, you know, forces us being, you know, riders from Mexico to raise it to this level, and it's great. And Arturo's one of them who's been, you know, starting to travel in the world more. You know, he's got big plans to go to Europe next year. He had told us, and he was very successful with this horse, not only in Mexico but throughout the year.
Good through the double.
He's a hyper-competitive rider down in Mexico. I mean, he wins from the meter 10s to the meter 60s. He's one of those that makes it happen. Again.
Oh, another one. You see, you don't have to get much of a toe on the top there, but interesting, you've been jumping that wall last week over on the grass. Again, it's all about positioning, as you were talking about with what Alan's done tonight. It didn't really play a part too much in the sense of having bricks down. This time, totally different.
Totally different. I don't know if it's where he put it. That's, you know, close to the side of the ring, maybe a little bit darker there. It's just maybe the horses are not putting their eye on it, but definitely a factor today where I wouldn't have thought that would come down so much, you know.
Just going to be a little bit for time as well by the looks of that one. Going to be inside, actually. On the 4, 80.05, well, 80.5. So it is going to be on the 4. Goes into second place so far. Again, just a little toe there. But you get down into the corner here, and if you're not careful, you almost get a little bit stuck in there, don't you? You've got to sort of get the engine going again.
Yeah, definitely.
Toro just missing out on the 4 faults there, 80.5. Ashley Bond on the 4. She was a bit quicker at 78.44, so she's just above him at the moment. At the moment, they're tied.
At the moment.
If I'm
oh, we'll go to jump off.
If I'm going to be really specific, I've done classes where we've jumped off 4 faulters before now. Yeah.
But we got big names and big combinations coming up, so you know, I don't think there's going to be many clear, but I'm sure there's going to be 3 or 4.
Yeah. I would take a spin at about that figure as well. Yeah, I'd agree with you. So on we go to Breton Chad now of Canada and Grandeur WP for the mare by Whistler. Now Breton again hasn't jumped much here this week. She's gone in preparation for this straight to the Grand Prix. This has been the focus for her from that point of view, and so we'll see how they get on. But it's again been a good chance for them to come up with the Stone Ridge Farms 11-year-old Dutch-bred gelding now. Thoughts on the course that you've seen so far of how it's played out, apart from the wall that might be disappearing over a fence later?
Well, definitely a tough course, as we've seen. We've seen big scores. Time allowed has definitely come into play. I think it forces them to make angles that they otherwise would have taken a step out.
Yeah.
And you know, gotten straighter to a line or two. So yeah, Alan, wait for you again. You know,
you talked about these early sort of fences where you said there's just a little bit of an angle, and this sort of roll back early on, making it tough from the start. He's not sort of getting you into a good flowing up and down.
Yeah, you kind of get to decide how much you want to risk early on with the turn back to 3, but I mean you risk You risk that vertical, and then maybe you risk even the next fence because it's a, you know, a difficult angle to tackle. And Breton so far, horse is jumping great.
Just drops at the little skinny there, and I'm surprised that hasn't fallen more yet, because again, little light pole on the top there, narrowed up pole, again, takes the weight out of it, so it doesn't take much to pop it out of the cups.
I hate skinnies.
So a few that hate walls tonight as well.
Yeah, that's true.
You mentioned earlier coming through that triple combination, how hard that is, double of verticals there, 2 big verticals. How do you ride that? How tough is that?
It depends what kind of horse you have. You know, you have to ride the combination however best suits your horse. You know, big scopy horse, you get the luxury of coming in slow, not worrying about the oxer coming out because you know that they're going to pop it up. But if you know you're riding a faster, not a scopy horse, maybe you need to worry about the oxer and risk the vertical. So it really depends on the horse.
Finishing on 12, there is time to add in there as well, 84.97 for Breton Chad this time, and Grandeur WP, as we see them just having that skinny down back into the earlier part of the course. So Breton Chad going into 6th place as it stands at the moment, and should see our way onto a combination that could well shake this one up. Won the big class here last night as well, Kent Farrington and Orofina by For Fashion. Grand Prix winners in Ottawa as well. He's also in contention for the individual title for Major League Jumping as well. $100,000 bonus spread across the top few for that as well. So there's another chance for that. But after a good run last night, back in again. But they were in hot form last night for this.
I think last night's jump off was a riding lesson clinic.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I could take 10 runs at it and not get anywhere close. It was blazing fast, and that's just Kent. And like you said, he's in the running for the individual bonus. I think he's sitting 3rd, maybe.
Yeah, top
3rd, and the top 2, Shane Sweetenham and Connor Swale over at Geneva. So, he's
the way is clear at the moment.
Yeah.
But again, like you say, this horse, went very fast to the jump off yesterday because they have that ability, but has this fast, modern type of way of going as well in terms of speed and lightness in the first round as well.
Definitely. She's a very, very careful mare, and Kent's got to give her a really positive ride. Just jumping great, looks comfortable in there.
You sit by the ring a lot and watch different riders going. What do you take away from him? What would you say is there anything of Kent Farrington in Eugenio Garza's armory?
I certainly hope so, but no. What don't you take from Kent? He's one of the best in the world, and he's shown it time and time again.
Olympic silver medalist, Aachen Grand Prix winner, has won literally across the globe. Kent looking strong here, and he's going to make this time look easy if they get... Oh, interesting. You really hear the crowd out there just sucking in at that point. But there we go. They can cheer because it's 75-69. Home with the first clear, Kent Farrington and Orofina. You never want to say it's easy for someone like that because it's not easy, but they just do it with such ability and assurance.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that these top riders just make it look different type of easy, and like you said, certainly not easy tonight, but the mare jumped great. She looked very comfortable in there. So tough to follow on the jump off. Tough to follow in the jump off, but the thing is they would go first in the jump off at the moment, but like you say, I don't think it'll be a big jump off. I mean, when Kent gets it right, I don't think there is anything you can do. And actually, even watching him is, spin it round the other way. I know a number of riders said to me, actually, I'd rather go first, get a really good time in, and actually let the others make mistakes trying to catch me. Yeah, yeah. Different ways of looking at it. James Arkins of Australia and Eurostar on this 10-year-old for the Australian. He moved across here to the US, was part of the World Championships this year as well for James, now based out here in the US. Made that big move to be a bigger part of competition. And so with the a few Australians now based over here. Matt Williams, who's here, of course, too. He's multiple Olympian, been down on the floor helping James here as well. This is a lovely horse.
I'm going to say it's a really nice horse. One World Cup's out in Australia. And again, that's what gives you the impetus to say, do you know what? If I'm going to give this a shot, I've got to go and be a part of the big leagues with it.
Absolutely. Recovers well.
Ooh, he lost a stirrup by the looks of it. Yes, he's lost a pedal. Get it back. No, he's not going to have it back. He's going to have to do the wall without it. Oof. Now we're into a little bit of cowboy stuff. Get it back. Oh, I think he has got it now. We'll just make it interesting for the evening.
Yeah, but the only I was about to say the only thing that you know, he spent a little bit of time looking for that syrup, so maybe the time allowed is going to be tight for him. Unfortunately, the rail comes down.
Yeah, he's going to be a little bit over the time as well, as you say. You just, unfortunately, even if they got it back, there was just no room in there to do that. But last fence going down as well. Total of 10. Roar going from the crowd. They love a bit of bravery and acrobatics.
I'm sure they do, but the riders, not so much.
You've been there.
Yeah. No, it's definitely exciting, but not on the horse.
Not on the horse from that point of view. He does well to bring it back together. But you say, lovely looking combination. Comes up to 10 years of age now. Rode at the World Championships this year. I'm going to be really excited to see them next year as well, actually, I think.
Yep, definitely.
So James Arkins going into 5th place there for the Australian. Ken Farrington gives us the sole clear at the moment to this Marshall and Sterling Grand Prix here tonight. Ashley Bond with the 2nd best score at the moment on the 4, sitting on a fast 4 at 78.44. Little bit of everything thrown in there so far in the early stages of this class. And as Johanny was saying, strong group coming up throughout this though, so we'll see how they fare. We go to another 5-star Grand Prix winner this season in the Hampton Classic, and that is Carl Cook. Carl with Kalinka for Sydney Osby, and for Carl, the 12-year-old mare is by Thunder van der Zoethoven, and also on your team with Team Helios, part of the winning team there as well. Still carrying a little bit of that elation through too. Of course, he was riding to the big win for the team back a few weeks ago in Monterey as well. But he gets straight in, straight to the first fence and gets going. There's no hanging around with this pair.
No, I think hanging around is probably not the best thing for this mare because she's an electric mare.
Yeah.
What was it he said? I think he said something like he's scared for his life every time he rides this mare.
Something like that. Keeps him on his toes anyway. Yeah. But she does deliver, doesn't she?
I mean, round in and round out, she is an unbelievable horse. Carl rides her great. He was the man of the hour on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Really brought it home for us. Not to put the commentator's curse on, but I would not be surprised to see him have a clear round.
Let's get past the wall. Yeah, there we go. No, it wouldn't. And based on their form this year, again, he stepped up, got a 5-star Grand Prix win behind him, got solid in those. He was 2nd in San Miguel as well in the Grand Prix there. So is now well established at this level and feels the confidence at this level.
Yeah, and he's got a great trainer with Eric Navet, a show jumping legend. They're a great team, and they've definitely, you know, done a great job with this mare.
Eric Navet, of course, former world champion, alongside a long list of medals and great achievements. But this is going to be good, and it's going to be number 2, and it's one of the local ones too, if you like. Californian Carl Cook and Kalinka will get into that jump off. Now, this is going to be a really interesting showdown so far because Orofina and Kalinka, both fiery, both fast.
Both fiery, both fast, both very careful. I think Kalinka can do maybe shorter turns to walkers where Ken has to maybe take a step, but you know, we've seen Carl go so fast. I mean, Thursday night was blazing. I think he was maybe the fastest or second fastest time. So good for him. Very happy to see Team Helios up there in the jump off.
Absolutely. Carl Cook in the game then, and alongside Kent Farrington as the clears so far in this Marshall and Sterling Grand Prix here tonight out in the desert. And to Canadian Olympian Tiffany Foster. Tiffany also on good form with the Hamilton Group's Hamilton. Usually hailing from British Columbia. Base is down in Florida, been over to Europe as well, competed on the World Championships this season. Multiple Olympic appearances as well. A long time established in the 5-star ranks. And as you say, this is where we're coming into the sort of some of the meaty combinations in here coming up. We've got Daniel Coyle, we've got Nick Pizarro, we've got those that are well used to this level.
Yeah, Tiffany being a pillar of the Canadian national team. I mean, she had an unbelievable week at the World Championships in Denmark. So definitely,
yeah, she was not far off contention in the individual running, was she?
No, she was right there down to the last day. Really, really impressive performance they put out.
Yeah. Good roll back there early on. Nicely put together at the moment. Still good, looking for maybe Canada to get into that jump. A little way to go yet. Quite a, you know, it's a big oxer coming out of that triple combination. 160 in spread. Tiffany going to be a little bit close to the time here. Might not just get there, just a little fraction steady, 82.33, and it is by the tiniest margins, but just the slightest slowing down anywhere he's going to catch you tonight.
Yeah, and he takes a lot of time in the air, which is good.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe that's where he caught it, because I think Tiffany rode an amazing round. I mean, very accurate, just very nice round. I think she's going to be happy with that.
Yeah, just going to put them on the 2-time. Just going to be a little bit of frustration at missing out, as you say, but happy enough with a really solid round there from Tiffany Foster. But puts her on 2, puts her into 3rd place as it stands. And on to Daniel Coyle with Ariel Grange's Legacy. Grand Prix winners here last week. In fact, Rotterdam Grand Prix winner as well. European Championship appearance now for Ireland. And to Championship again this year as well for Daniel. And again, last week, just looks so confident at this level now. She's a really nice horse that just wants to get in there.
Yeah, last week Daniel was on a different level.
He was on a tear. He won several classes.
And if it's not him, it's his brother. So you got to deal with 2 Coils. I mean, I think Jordan won the 2-star today, didn't he?
Yes, I think he did. Yeah.
So if it's not Daniel, it's Jordan. If it's not Jordan, it's Daniel. But like I said last week, it's very uncommon to go to a show and not see these guys win a class at least. They're incredible riders, crazy fast. So one to watch.
And Legacy, I mean, she's just got better and better. What have you made of her?
Yeah, I actually spoke to Daniel the other night about her, and he thinks so highly of the mare because she's been jumping great, had a great year, has won all over the world. Doesn't matter if it's North America, Europe. The mare is just in form right now, and Daniel, rarely does he make a mistake. So.
Still good at the moment. Time should be okay. That was a slick turn back there. That was just nice and controlled and tight.
Ooh,
oh. It's going to leave them on the 475.
Did you count there? I think he went one less, I think.
I missed that one. I think you might be right, though. There's some. We might get a little look back at that one.
I think that's one that he's going to want back because the mare was jumping great.
As you say, just starts to have to take a little bit of a dive at it to get at it, and it leaves you a little bit far off. There you go. Unfortunately, just on the 475.75. So 4 into 4th place for Daniel Coyle, Legacy. So not going to be the Irishman this time. Kent Farrington looking strong. Kent looking as though he could also get to the top of that individual championship 2 here with that. We'll see. I'm going to let the guys with all the maths work that one out as we go through, because there are a few other challenges to come into this yet. So Daniel Coyle heads out into 4th place. Tiffany Foster just on the 2. 2 clears the moment with Carl Cook and Kent Farrington. Another of your teammates, Nicolas Pizarro and Pia Contra. A really nice set of horses around this Olympic rider now for the Mexico. And of course, if you were watching yesterday, you saw with Mike Wazowski as well, which is by Blue de Raventon. Looks really nice and interesting that he's gone to Pia Contra for the Grand Prix.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a bunch of nice horses. This mare is jumping lights out. Sar jumped the other day. Very nice. Like you said, Mike Wazowski, he's got the Gray Yankee Do. Then you got Pia Contra. He's got a great group of horses. He's our highest ranked Mexican rider, and he's had an overall great year. And he's just one of those riders that I grew up watching since I was a kid, and to get to jump on teams with him is a real pleasure, a real treat. Great person too, fun to have around.
Yeah, absolutely. How is this faring? She's certainly putting some big jumps there. She shows she's got tons of ability of airborne down that previous line in front of the VIP. Still looking good at the moment. This another of these turns where if you're just not careful, you can drift a little bit.
Right. I don't know about the time allowed.
No, it looks close to me.
I don't think he's going to get there, unfortunately.
I think it's going to be a little bit. Oh, well, it won't matter. But I'll talk about that in a second. Just going a 282.65, so 2 for time there, so 4 for jumping, 2 for time. But again, we saw it with Daniel Coyle, we saw it with Nick. I mean, look at her over that fence. But you know, you saw it with those two. You just getting to those last few fences, and you just get conscious of the time. You just try and push a little bit, and that's where an error creeps in.
Yeah, makes you rush a little bit. You know, Alan is very smart in the way he sets up his courses. That you don't really have much to where you can save time, and where you can, you're either faced with an option whether you can risk whatever's coming. For example, from the skinny to the wall, you risk that, you risk the wall, which we've seen coming down, or from 3 to 4, the big ox are there. So definitely a tough course, and makes it even harder with the time allowed that short.
Yeah, so 2 clears already with Kent Farrington and Carl Cook to go head-to-head at the moment, which is a good salivating prospect to come a little bit later on. Let's go on to Matt Archer and Luigi van de Bishop for Matt from the USA. And Matt, again, wouldn't have had as much exposure as jumping these big tracks as, say, a Kent Farrington from that point of view. So we're going to see how they fare here from that point of view. And another one who's mainly based in jumping here over on the West Coast. Just catches them out there at the palm trees. And again, just get a little bit forward down that line. Suddenly, as we were saying about these courses earlier, it just starts to accumulate.
Yeah, one mistake might lead to another. It's just another one of those combinations that I think is going to thrive getting in here and jumping these jumps.
So get some good experience and a good step up here, handling it pretty well so far. Some big verticals, as we said, coming through that triple combination on the 12. Just sort of trying to get a bit of a gauge of time there. If you want to be about 62, I think, if you're going to stand a chance of getting inside the time allowed. Lands heavy at that one, I'm afraid.
When we walked the course, that oxer looked very big, wide. So you risk, if you're worrying about the time allowed, that's a big oxer to turn short to. So,
well, it's going to be a score of 16 at 80.29 there for Matt Archer and Luigi. So we're going to take a little bit of a breather, and Hannah's going to catch up with one of our riders who's done well out of this so far. But Matt Archer finishing off his round on a score of 16. We've got Kent Farrington on a 0 score with Orofina, and also then into Carl Cook with the 0 score as well. And so we're going to hand down to Hannah in just a moment to, I think she's going to have a chat with Carl Cook to see how he's faring. In the meantime, they're going to be taking a little bit of an arena break, and it just gives us a little breather off our commentaries. We'll hand on down to the floor to get Carl Cook's thoughts. At the moment, really interesting jump with 2 fast combinations into that second round at the moment. Carl Cook and Kalinka and Kent Farrington with Orafina. Lovely night here in the desert. A little bit cooler, but certainly going to be some fire later on, especially with those two into the jump-off.
Well, Carl, congratulations. One of only 2 clears so far. How did you find it in there?
It's big, and it's technical, and the time allowed is tight, which makes it harder. But I mean, it's definitely jumpable. It's as big as it should be.
And this horse has been going fantastically well for you this year. What's given her that consistency?
I think it's all her. You know, she wants it so badly, and you know, she fights for every inch that that there is out there, and that's what makes it.
And alongside you now in the jump off, we also have Kent Farrington. Will you be looking at the other riders, or will you just be focusing on what you've got to do?
Probably not, because it's just him. I mean, I'll watch as much as I can, but we more or less know what's possible, so we'll just have to ride and see.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. You know, unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse death, and I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
The beauty, power, and elegance of warm blood horses is no accident. A history of carefully crafted breeding practices that walk the delicate line of art and science has created a horse that is as strong as it is graceful, so that it may successfully compete at the most elite level in equine sports. Breeders can access an American Stallion station that provides both fresh chilled and frozen semen options with full transparency on semen quality. Set on 800 acres of Lexington, Kentucky bluegrass, Spy Coast Farm is revolutionizing the breeding practices of warm blood horses. World-renowned stallions with proven bloodlines that have successfully competed at the top level of international Grand Prix sport are collected by a resident veterinarian and processed promptly for shipment to a domestic breeder for a timely insemination of their ovulating mare. The experts at Spy Coast Farm are determined to improve your U.S. breeding options by taking the guesswork out of semen quality.
Well, building up to the second half of the Marshall and Sterling Grand Prix. Those are two clears so far. Pretty evenly matched there as well. Two quick horses, two top riders. Kent Farrington of the USA and Orofino, of course, with a bit more in the experience locker than Carl Cook. But two of them that will certainly go for this with the fast Kalinka for the Californian. Can he bring the Grand Prix home tonight here at the Desert Horse Park? Carl Cook against Kent Farrington. I think we might have a few more on the roster yet. We're going to go into our second half with the likes of Erin Ballard, Lily Keenan, Grand Prix winner down in Monterey, Amy Miller and Truman, Dara Kenny, last year's winner Jordan Coyle, and Patricio Pascal down to Caitlin Campbell in the final few. We'll see also in there Paul O'Shea, of course, of Ireland as well. So that's going to be the second half of this lineup. So looking forward to see how this plays out from that point of view. Some stellar names in there to take a run at this, but two with a 0 score. Others have gone close. Time is playing a big part as well. Tiffany Foster just on the 2 time at 82.33. And also a little further down with Daniel Coyle on the 4 faults, Ashley Bond on the 4 faults as well, or Dora Parada finishing on the 4. They're making up 4th, 5th and 6th so far. That's down the tail end of here. You've got Olympian Cassia Rivetti for Brazil with Chattanooga, Sean Jobin and Darius, Patricio Pascal, and finally down to Caitlin Campbell to complete the first round here tonight. Some exciting combinations, been some exciting jumping so far. Alan Wade, as ever, putting a little bit of spice into the class too. Some really clever designing from him as ever on a lovely night under the lights here at the Desert International Horse Park here in California. Just a few moments drive from La Quinta and Coachella, and almost set to resume into round 2. Alongside me is Mexican Olympian Eugenio Garza. Eugenio, from what we've seen so far, you and I were talking about how what a fun, interesting matchup Kent Farrington and Carl Cook will be.
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, Kent and Orofina, we saw how fast they can go last night.
Yeah.
And then we saw how fast Carl can go Thursday night. So both great horses, both great riders. Don't really know who to put my money on.
You keeping your money? I'd keep it safe. I'd put it to one side. I think these
I'd
are
go
pretty
Team
evenly
Helios.
matched.
Yeah, I'd go Team Helios to keep the team spirit going.
Yeah.
And I'll let you keep Kent.
If Carl can walk away with this, it's a big week for Helios, actually.
Big week for Helios and big week for Carl because,
Yeah.
you know, he was a hero on Thursday night bringing it home. So
yeah.
I'm sure he's more than excited to be able to try to do it again.
Yeah, got the armour on, got ready to go. So we'll be into this. Thoughts on the course so far? As ever with an Alan Wade course, there's just always those little elements to it. There's just delicacies that you go, Darnie caught me.
Yeah. Again, Alan, you know, proving once again how much of a genius he is at course designing. You know, rails all over the place. It's not one bogey fence. Rails in different tests, different areas of the course, and the time allowed, like we said, has been playing a big part.
Yeah, 81 the time allowed. It's not been easy to squeak under that. Tiffany Foster with the 2 there, quite a few with some time faults on the whole of the lineup there. It's just putting enough pressure on you. You've got to keep moving. If you get wide on any of these turns, you're stuck.
It just changes the way you ride the courses. I mean, if you had 3-4 more seconds, I'm sure that we'd see at least 3 or 4 more clear. But
yeah.
You know, it's tough. 81 is a short time.
And it's $450,000, so they're not going to give it away tonight.
Plus $100,000 in the individual standing, so, big money tonight.
Split that to $550 in total for a few of those going at this here. So let's go on to Kristen Van der Veen. Bull Runs Risen, based down in Florida, originally from Illinois, and many-time winner, as a prolific winner of classes, probably one of the most riders in the US over the last 5 years. The 16-year-old Bull Runs Risen for Kristen. And see how they fare here. Just been looking for a little bit of form recently for this pair, but had a good run down in Ocala a few weeks ago for her. So we'll see how they fare here. But again, early on, it gets you into that loop back to this 160 vertical. And all the time there, though, he's just saying, okay, you make your mind up, but if you make a path that goes a little bit too wide,
you'll pay the price later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Early rail for Kristen there. Unfortunate rail. I think just, you know, caught him by surprise a little bit. It's a big Oxford number 2 to start the course, but it settled nicely. Okay.
Again, with the skinny, little bit harder. It's been catching a couple in there. The wall has played its biggest pass so far as they just try and get up to that. And again, you get a little bit forward. Those bricks on top are not heavy. Flick and go.
I don't think I've seen a wall come down as much as this one in a long time. Definitely a very smart place to where he put it, Alan, making it difficult for these riders.
Kristen on the 20, unfortunately, so far for this pairing that have done an awful lot before now, but just not quite being the week at the moment. Going to be a little bit over the time as well. Let's say 81 the time allowed. And so just a fraction over. It takes them to 21 in total for Kristen van der Veen. 14th position with Bull Runs risen at this point. So still the 2 on the scoreboard with the 0 score. And again, you know, the way you've got a big course like this, regardless, but, you know, delicate little turns in there, little moves here and there, it's very easy to run up a bigger score.
Especially with the new rule coming in about the time
as well.
Time, one
time
mistake, one fault per second.
Yeah.
Before it was, you know, you had 4. So.
Which is why you'll see a score like we've got on the scoreboard of 37 that you think, oh, that looks big. Well, most of it, a lot of it, good chunk of that is.
Yeah, or someone like Juan who was clear over the fences was 4 seconds or 5 seconds over.
Yeah.
And now he's behind the 4 faulters where before he would have been in 2 faults.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
it changes the game.
I'm going to get splinters. I'm going to sit on the fence over that debate. So, Natalie Dean, another Californian-based rider, but has taken her around the world with this horse, Chance Saint-Amel. It's been a US team horse for her. She was placed in the recent World Cups as well, last time out in Las Vegas too, and has been a really solid performer on this horse that came from Michael Morrissey a couple of seasons back now, and has really built up a nice partnership with this. And this is another horse that, you know, she can really feel with confidence to go at these big fences.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can see there was an efficient turn to 3. Great partnership. These two know each other inside out. And Natalie, a very, you know, established young rider. Great string of horses. Trainer Elan, you know, does a great job procuring these horses for her. And super competitive always, you know, fast. And
yeah, she rode one of the winning rides for the teams this season. That was up in Ottawa from that point of view. Also finished well in the Grand Prix there as well, which, again, you ride a big winning round like that, gives you confidence going to the next one too.
Yeah, I think confidence is a big thing with riders. Sometimes, you know, you can't do wrong, and then sometimes you can't do right. So I think, you know, it's nice to see Natalie and, you know, very confident, good round right now. And I think she's okay with time.
She looks good for time. Just going to come home with, the last 2 fences down, in fact. 8 there at 78.65. Good for time, but that last line, again, just catching them out there. We may just get another little look at that one. Here they are through the triple combination. What's the error?
It's at the end of the course, you know, it's tough. It's a short 5 strides to, I think, one of the bigger verticals in the course. Very delicate, you know, airy, 3 rails only with a black plank on the bottom to get the horse's attention there instead of the top pole. So, you know, it's just, again, Alan with his, you know, his tricks and tests for these riders. And
you just
difficult course.
Start looking down and go, come on, there's a bit more to this. And as you say, you just getting a little bit of trouble there. 160 vertical there. Lady's been used to big courses as well. Is our next, and that will be Erin Ballard of Canada, World Championship rider again this year as well for the Canadian with Alain Feder's Gakia. So into that same stable as Natalie Dean, as we've seen a few minutes ago, but she's a well-accomplished rider, brilliant at just getting the quick partnership with the horse, and a wonderful horsewoman.
Yeah, she's one of those that just has this ability to get on a horse and decipher it in a matter of, you know, days.
Yeah,
where other riders, you know, we take more than you know, a few months. So very strong rider, great partnership with Elan, and she's been having a great year.
But I think that's also good, you know, solid testament to her riding style as well, isn't it? That she can get with a good horse and a lot of horses very quickly. That it's a really solid riding style.
Yeah, she's just one of those riders who just instills confidence in the horses. You know. And she can ride anything, big, small, heavy, light, hot, cold, just overall rider, Erin.
Gakia, the horse that she rode at the World Championships in Denmark this year, and just gets just the tiniest fraction behind that Skinny.
Again, Skinny, doesn't take much for it to fall. Unfortunate rail.
But just coming down that line where she had the Skinny down, does that start to just get a little bit shorter? Is that just, you know, he's just left nothing in the tiniest movement forward, you end up stuck?
Both?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. On the 8 then, unfortunately, for Erin Ballard and Gakia tonight. And again, there's going to be quite a few that I've seen out of this so far that you see a score of 8 around there. You go, but it was still a really nice round.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, you know, Erin, it's just one of those, you take the rail and it falls. I mean, sometimes that's just what happens, and Erin rode a great round, and the horse jumped great. It's just, you know, 2 small ticks and you're up to 8 faults.
Yeah, so it is into 9th place, Erin Ballard and Gakia, and incoming Lily Keenan. And Lily we saw winning the Grand Prix down in Monterey. Similar prize money for that one as well. Big one a few weeks ago for her. Different ride this time with Queensland E. She also then went on to win the World Cup qualifier in Las Vegas as well. And so you talk about confidence. She comes in on good form as well. She's been up there well with the teams the last few runnings as she's been into the Trailblazers for the second part of the season. But World Championship rider as well this year. It's been a big move-up year for Lily.
Yeah, Lily's one of those established, again, young riders for the U.S. I mean, she's been winning since she was, you know, 8 years old.
Yeah.
Every division, doesn't matter if it's hunter, if it's equitation, if it's, you know, high amateurs or all the way up to 5-star level. I think since she was young, everyone knew that she was going to be an asset to the U.S. team, and she proved it this year at the World Championship in Denmark, and a great win in Monterey as well.
Nice balanced roll back early on. Again, she might just have to think a little bit about pace. It'll be really interesting to see where this pairing comes out here. But she's been competing over in Europe a lot this summer too, been based over there, and again, getting used to riding at these big class paces.
Yeah, I'm sure she's seen Alan Wade at a lot of the shows that she goes to, and she's always very efficient. She might not look like she's fast, but rarely do you see Lily the wall again.
You see, gets out of the corner and just moves up out of the corner and it catches you.
It just seems to be the bogey fence on this track, which is, you know, like I said, I haven't seen the wall fall like that in a long time.
Just unfortunately drops the back of that Oxer as well. If there was now that you've watched it and you know you were sitting there going, how am I going to do this, and I've got all the time in the world to ride to that wall, what's the perfect way of riding that, do you think?
Yeah, but the problem is you don't have the whole time in the world.
That's my point.
And, you know, it'd be great to be able to, you know, set it up and get a good shot, 3 strides, you know, balancing the horse up. But with this time allowed, he forces you to, you know, rush a little bit in the turn to try to make up time. And I think that's where we're seeing a lot of the riders get caught out.
So we'll leave them on a total of 9 at 81.76.9 there for Lily Keenan and Queensland E. So leaves her further down the order into 11th place. So a surprise combination going out. Thought they would be a little bit further up. Doesn't quite work out today. Just a couple, as we said, with some good rounds in there that can walk away with 8 faults today. And we will move on then with our next, still seeing the 2 clears at the moment with Ken Farrington and Carl Cook. Mark Watering now of Puerto Rico and Limbosini RC. Mark with a good record behind him, having competed at 2 Olympic Games, going back to Athens and even Los Angeles, back to 84 from that point of view, and heads into the big classes here. Was also in Las Vegas a few weeks ago at the World Cup qualifier there. This combination they've been developing through the circuit this year. A few appearances over in Florida and some earlier rails down there to put them on the 8 at the moment for this 11-year-old Holsteiner by Gardus Limbus. Just unfortunately gets stuck in the first part. That leaves them in a fair bit of trouble for the last part as well. Just getting the engine going for the latter part there. Again, a combination that are coming into the 5 stars for the first time as a pairing here for this one. Not to be this time around. And there, it'll take them to an overall score of 30 at 86.73 for Mark Watering and Limbosini RC for the rider for Puerto Rico. So still holding at the 2 clears at this point. Where are we up to in the overall order? We're up to our 20th there of those just over 30 that we'll see in total. It's in fact around that mark. So Mark Watering heading out, and we'll go on to Rodrigo Lambre of Brazil. Hubert B, another well-established rider, including medals at the last Pan Am Games as well. Rode the season on the Spine Coast team as well. Former rider, in fact, of Erin Ballard, but Rodrigo, plenty of times a winner.
Yeah, very competitive rider down in Mexico. He actually was one of my first trainers back in the day. So, you know, great person, taught me a lot. It's great to be able to compete with him at this level. And a great rider. Has a great partnership with the Oñate family down in Mexico.
Yeah.
Owns a couple of horses with them, and has been riding for them for the past few years. And yeah, super rider, part of that Lima team for Brazil that won. Edging us out.
Yeah, I didn't like to say it. Well, unfortunately, he has 2 parts of the double there. Yeah, you were into silver, they were into gold, but let's put that one away. Pan Am's next year, of course, as well.
This would be also, I think, one of the bigger classes for this horse that he's jumped. So a nice test for him.
No, not to be today. So he's going to retire there for Rodrigo Lambre and Hubert B. So just the wall being put back into place. Amy Miller and Truman. Really good performance in the team class, of course, for Eye Candy earlier on this week for the Canadian Olympian. Now, this is another one that has a good shot at this. We've just seen the 2 clears at the moment with Kent Farrington and Carl Cook.
Amy and Truman, I mean, how many clear rounds have they jumped over and over again? Just good round after good round.
Really good performer. With Gail Greenhow on the floor. Here with as well the 86 world champion. Just going to come home on the 4 faults at 79.03. 4 there for Amy Miller and Truman. So puts her into 6th place so far for the Canadian. Ken Farrington, Carl Cook, the 2 clears at the moment, just leaves us about 7 left to go. Now this is a man who's been very used to winning 5-star Grand Prix, again been competing over in Europe throughout the summer months, riding horse for Teddy Vlock, and this is Volney de Bois de Ville for Dara Kenny of Ireland. Now heads back to his base here in the US, where he really made his name through the early part of his career. Chance here with Dara, with another one placed over the last few weeks in the Grand Prix.
I think, like Kent, Dara's just one of those riders that you could watch ride all day.
Yeah.
Looks like he's not doing anything, but quite in fact he is doing a lot.
That's the secret, isn't it, in any sport?
And that's just one of those things that Dara just, you know, he sits so quiet, great body control, and he's just a great rider. Fast in the jump off, so if we do get him in the jump off, it's one of those that definitely can challenge the top 2 that we have right now.
Oh, but he isn't going to be.
Shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, no, well, we all think it has an influence. It doesn't, I can tell you.
I blamed you a couple of times, so don't tell me
exactly.
It doesn't.
Sometimes the timing's not the best, but now he knows, he's, you know, comes around that corner with confidence. He's also aware that a good fast 4 in here is going to put him in good money.
Fast 4 here, we're looking at, you know, a top 5 finish if things stay how they are. So
and fast of the 4 so far with Daniel Coyle at 75.75. So he's going to be close on that for Dara. Puts him at 75.8, just a tiny fraction behind. But again, we talk about a tiny fraction behind. That's a big difference in prize money with a class this big.
With a prize money that big, it's definitely...
You're talking tens of thousands. Yes. Yeah. Really good round, but just finishing on the 4 there for Dara Kenny. Goes into 5th place. Good finish, but I know would have been wanting to be into the mix there for that jump off. Still sitting at 2 with Kent Farrington and Carl Cook. For now, last year's winner of this Grand Prix is Jordan Coyle now. Jordan with Volney de Bois de Ville, the 13-year-old by winning mood, also won up in Vancouver this year for the Grand Prix there. Can he get in with a shot with this group?
That Vancouver win was something special.
Yeah.
That jump off Jordan, you know, was uncatchable. And if you put him in the jump off, he's one of those that also can be very fast. Last year's winner, too, you said?
Yeah.
Good.
Coming in with confidence, just the 2 of them, he manages this horse really well and has got the scope and ability to do this, but just has that interesting different action, gets down into the bottom of the fence, just, yeah, no, still there at the wall.
Yeah, I think he has to manage the horse. I think you know, as the course goes on, it gets a little bit trickier for Jordan to ride the horse. That's an unfortunate rail. Just
an audible groan from the crowd. Just going to leave him on the 4 at 76.48. And so goes into 6th place there for Jordan Coyle and Ariso.
But again, like Daniel, you know, both Coro brothers are so fast, so
Yeah.
efficient that even if they have a rail in a class like this, you'll still see them up there in the standings. If it's not one, it's the other, and if it's not either of them, it's both of them. So, you know, great competitors and great to be competing alongside them.
So they're on the fall for Jordan Call into 6th, Daniel Call into 4th place, Ken Farrington and Carl Cook. The 2 clears, it's looking tight. We said maybe 3 or 4. We're coming down to what, a final 5 at the moment. It may even be tighter than that. But it's going to be exciting, I can tell you that one.
Yeah, regardless if we have just the 2, it would be exciting as it is. And, you know, the man in the ring right now definitely has a great shot at it. Paul has been uber consistent in this league, and hopefully we get our 3rd here.
So Paul O'Shea being one of the heroes of Major League jumping so far. Last year's man of the team competition. The MVP for the last year's winners Eye Candy. This year's winners, of course, with Helios. But for him, rode 2 superb winning rounds in the last few weeks. Again, just not much of an error there, and it costs him.
No, just doesn't take much to have that rail down. Unfortunate. But I'm sure he's going to start to pick up the pace, thinking about that valuable, you know, time to get a high placing, and that comes down too. So unfortunately, that takes him out of the running. But
yeah, I'm going to leave him with at least the 12, just inside the time at 80.23. 12 there for Paul O'Shea and Emerald van Voorhoff.
does Kent have the individual standings?
Well,
clinched?
I think he's very, very close from that point of view. I think it's more or less there for him.
Big payday for Kent then.
Big payday for Kent, if that is confirmed. As I say, I think we're very close to that. I'm going to wait till the end of the class though to get that confirmed, but looks highly likely. Another Olympian now in Cassio Rivetti. Cassio with Chattanooga, 1 of 4 left to go. This 12-year-old Oldenburg by Cornets Prince for the Brazilian rider who's competed across the world now with a string of horses over here in California. There's a long European campaign that he had as well. So he rode through to Olympic level. Another lovely one to watch. Well, actually won the Grand Prix on the grass here last year as well. Brazil, Canada, Mexico and USA, just those left to come as part of tonight's Marshall and Sterling Grand Prix. Oh, just again, not much, but down goes the first part of the double.
I was talking to Cassio earlier, and he mentioned that this is, you know, a more inexperienced horse, so it was a big test for him, and you know, he wanted to see how he tackled it.
Yeah, I mentioned he won the Grand Prix here last year. Different horse on that occasion. This one hasn't done so much of this level from that point of view. Just cut short coming out of the triple. Again, it's always, you know, it takes rounds to make rounds, if you like. You know, you need to get in and do the competition at this level to build, to get, you know, well established for this level.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's a tough course tonight.
Yeah.
It's you don't see this day in and day out. Doesn't matter where you are, but it's good to get in there, and like you said, rounds make rounds. So
Finishes on a score of 20 with some time in there at 84.93 there for Cassia Rivetti and Chattanooga for the rider for Brazil. So Sean Jobin now, after finishing top 3 in the Grand Prix last week with the Foxridge Farms Darius, returns now to step up this week in this $450,000 class. Good performances from him throughout the season. Really starting to establish him into these big 5-star Grand Prix.
This is a great round.
Really good round last week.
Don't think he's going to make the time.
I was just going to say, just looking at the route there as well, just going to run this a little bit close to the time allowed. Unfortunately, he's got, what, about 5 seconds to get home. That's not going to happen. But either way, it is going to be.
As he gets there before, you know, it's a 4-fault round.
Yeah. Just unfortunately scrambles it at the last, 86.07. What was looking like a very good round, unfortunately gets unraveled at the finish, takes into a score of 10, and with the time adding up there as well, 86.07. So that puts them with another 6 on top of there. So 10 in all for Sean Jobin and Darius. 13 very, very good fences from that point of view. But unfortunately, the last fence coming into play, as you say, just wasn't going to get there for the time, I'm afraid. But it's been a really good step up for them this year.
Yeah, it's just like we say, we keep saying it. You know, the time has been a challenge for these riders. Just it changes the way you ride the courses, and unfortunately, he got cut out there. Sean, the last fence, but a super round, great round. The horse jumped great.
So leaves us a couple left on the opening round leader run-up. Kent Farrington, Carl Cook, the only 2 clears so far here in California. Just 2 with a shot with Patricio Pascal and Caitlin Campbell to come into the reckoning. Well-established Mexican rider Patricio Pascal, championship rider for Mexico with the well-experienced 16-year-old Seringat. Again, almost harder actually. I mean, what's your strategy when you see a class where things are getting tough? Do you just stay in your own zone and not get involved with everybody else's round that's going on, or just get someone to try and glean a little bit?
As a rider, I kind of almost tell you that I prefer these kind of classes than the opposite, where you're sitting
20
there
clears
in
or whatever.
the warm-up and you keep hearing the music with everyone going clear, and then you're like, well, I have to jump clear, and then I have a whole different class to jump. Whereas in this class, you get the job done and you have a good paycheck. So I prefer these classes, but definitely it'll almost be an advantage to go first, because you know you don't know that the course is this hard. But you know, Patricio has been in this situation many a times, and he's an experienced rider. I've had the pleasure of riding with him on many teams, and overall great rider and great person, and very fun to be around.
Absolutely, and we see there how much has been raised for Urides Village as well. The charity here tonight, $42,270 at this point. Patricio, as you say, very capable of pulling this one off. But again here, just going a little bit wider early on, and I'm not sure you can afford that with this course
I was
here.
about to say that's a pretty wide turn, so hopefully he makes it up somewhere else. But, you know, maybe he's got, you know, thinking about the maybe a time fault, 2 time faults. And
not right.
Miscommunication there. I
yeah.
think. It's a newer combination. Patricio, I think, bought the horse in the summer as a horse to kind of help out his longtime partner, Babel.
Yeah.
To get him in the ring and get him, keep riding at this level, because, like you said, as we ride this level, you get more and more confident, and you can only do so by being in the ring. So I think the horse, this is, the job of Seringat, and he does it very well.
Yeah, and he's been there with a few big top riders as well, but unfortunately just not happening today. So deciding to retire there, Patricio Pascal and Seringat this time. Just leaves one left to come in the first round. Was into the reckoning in the recent Vegas World Cup show as well. She's been a regular on the Major League Jumping this year too. Caitlin Campbell, based over here on the West Coast now with Amir. Going to be our final one to go into round 1. Being well placed throughout Monterrey. Nice win in Vegas just a few weeks ago. And yeah, now getting again more shots this season. Big jumping ride for Caitlin.
I think Caitlin also is one of those that's going to have to think about the time allowed. Big horse, big jump, spends time in the air.
Yeah, former rider of Fabian Sahanis of Argentina, and also with Alberto Michel for a few rides as well into the mid part of this year. Fairly newer ride for her.
That was sufficient.
Yeah. Ooh. Again, just opens up, just as a little move towards it, and it's going to cost you.
Yeah, I don't doubt there's going to be a couple of riders that are going to want to burn the wall down. Been costing a lot of money.
It's the end of season, don't worry, it gets a respray for next. Well, going to finish on the 12, well, 12 up to this point, but it means we're going to finish on 2 clears out of this Marshall and Sterling Grand Prix here tonight, with Ken Farrington up against Carl Cook, and that is an exciting head-to-head to come up for this one. It's going to have the last fence as well to take them to time 2 to 23 in all. That's 87.09 for Caitlin Campbell of the USA and Emir. So as I say, it closes out round 1 with 2 clears going into that jump off. Eugenio, we said it would have been exciting too. I thought we might have a few others joining them, but either way, as you say, you can enjoy a tough Grand Prix, but to get to finish it off, these are 2 Speedmasters.
2 winners of the last 2 classes. Thursday Carl, and then Friday last night Kent. I don't really know which way it's going to go. We said earlier that I'd stick with Helios, so you got Kent,
well,
I got Carl.
Yeah, looks like Kent has claimed the individual championship as well with that as well. Of course, he won with that horse last night. He was winner in Ottawa. He's had a well-established run and of course a regular of the world's top 10. Carl Cook very much on the rise with that Grand Prix win at the Hampton Classic a little bit earlier on this year as well. So 2 exciting combinations to go. As you say, I can't pick through them, because if you've watched either of them go, they will just go off like fire.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see what Kent does. I mean, does he go all out?
Yeah.
And risk a rail? Because Kalinka, having her going after you, I don't see how you... I mean, you don't think that she's going to be clear. She jumped great the first round, and Carl's fast. So I think Kent's going to have to go all out.
I think it's all out for both of them. Simple as that from that point of view.
That's going to be exciting.
One of the worst, you're going to be second. So what do you...
See, that's what I mean by it's the best kind of class, because you jump clear, and
worst comes
Go
to
for
worst,
it.
you already have a great placing. So these two are going to leave happy no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. So good luck to them both, Ken Farrington and Carl Cook. We're going to be catching up down at the in-gate with some of our riders involved in this as well. And I can tell you Tiffany Foster finishes in third on the 2 time faults, Daniel Coyle in fourth on the 4, Derek Kenny on the 4 in fifth place, and sixth place to Jordan Coyle. Seventh place to Ashley Bond. That also puts her up on the podium for the individual championship, I think, by the looks of that as well. Carl Cook up there too. So Team Helios have had a pretty good run through the final stages.
Yeah, pretty good run. I'd say my teammates are going to be happy. Great to see Ashley up there in the podium places for the individual standing. She deserves it. You know, she was MVP for the Major League team riders, so good for her, and good luck to Carl.
Good for her. We're going to take a break for a few minutes' time. Join us for the jump-off.
I'm Danielle Toronto, and we are customers of Marshall and Sterling. They have been amazing for us, for our business. They take care of our farm, our horses, our cars. It's basically one-stop shopping for us.
I'm Jimmy Toronto. You know, unfortunately, we've actually had to really use Marshall and Sterling for horse death, and I have to say that Marshall and Sterling has been an amazing company. They have taken care of things. It's been worry-free. The person we deal with, Missy, she takes it all upon herself. Once we go to her with the claim, she does it all for us. And I have to say, since we've been with Marshall and Sterling, I just can't think of going anywhere else. I put all my trust, all my faith in them.
Two will be joining us on the upcoming jump off 300 meters, starting at fence number 4. Fence number 4, that is the Oxford in front of the VIP pavilion. We've got the Oxford on the standards of fence number 4. Right hand turn, brand new fence. That is the Holiday signature fence at fence number 50. So that'll come up next. Left hand turn on the fence number 14. So a nice option to gallop from fence number 15. The Holiday down to the Desert International Horse Park, Oxford. Going towards that jumbotron at fence number 14. Left hand turn, the Major League show jumping combination. That's triple combination. ALM having been removed. So B and C still in play. Fence number 10, B and C. Straight down to fence number 11. That's the Marshall and Sterling signature fence. The Liverpool underneath. Fence number 11. Right hand turn. And we go on to the butterfly Oxford. And just one remaining. Another new fence. And that's the Birch standards there. At fence number 16 with the white and yellow rails. Those black accents. And that is right behind the gazebo. So that is our jump off course. Fence number 4, once again, that has the Brock Tree standards. Come down the Caliday, that'll be up next. The Desert International Horse Park signature fence at fence number 14. Left hand turn, 8B, or stretch 10B and 10C. With that vertical option in the jump off. Straight down fence number 11. Also still the signature fence. Butterfly up next, butterfly launcher. And the Birch standards. There's right and yellow as that is the final fence in the jump off. $450,000 FBI 5-star mutually show jumping Grand Prix presented by Marshall and Sterling. Marshall and Sterling's Equus Division specializes in personalized plans that encompass a full range of extensive equine, farm, and ranch insurance coverage offerings. And once again, $48,440. That was from the jump below. Great thanks to this crowd. You guys have been amazing. That allows Riders Village to jump to those fundraisers to build another home for those orphan children. And that certainly helps out. Wow, that is awesome. That was just from the first jump alone. So great thanks to everybody. Great thanks to Marshall and Sterling as well. And Marshall and Sterling, they have that full range of extensive equine, farm, and ranch insurance coverage options, each uniquely tailored to fit your distinctive needs. Marshall and Sterling are your true advocates when it matters most. When you apply for insurance and when your horse has an accident, become sick or injured as an employee-owned company. They are an employee-owned company. Their pride and ownership drives them to be an insurance agency unlike any other. So Ken Farrington and Laura Athena, they will be the first back for that jump-off round. Carl Cook and Kalinka Bansorlier in second place. We can confirm third place. That goes to Tiffany Foster, Tiffany and Hamilton. They just had the 2 time falls in the first round. Just a beautiful ride. Daniel Coyle and Legacy. All the riders, such a great job. Daniel Coyle and Legacy for Ireland sitting in 4th. Irish riders in 4th, 5th, and 6th. Daniel Coyle, Legacy in 4th. Jared Kenny and for the name was the Waterville. They are in 5th, 6th. That's Jordan Coyle and Ariso. Actually, Bob Donatello 141 for Israel. They are in 7th. They will take home 7th place. Amy Miller and Truman for Canada in 8th. Arturo Corrado and Paco in 9th place for Mexico. Juan Ortiz and Vintage for Venezuela in 10th. 11th, Nicholas Pizarro and Contra for Mexico. 12th, that's the Canadian rider. Aaron Valley and Joe Peter. So we are getting ready and set. Hopefully set for the jump off. The riders take their time to get back for this jump off round. A lot of money comes down to this $450,000. On top of that, we also do have the Major League Show Jumping Series individual. What the total money there for the individual bonus money is $100,000. And it is a tight race between Carl Cook
and so getting set for the jump off for this Marshall and Sterling Grand Prix. Short course 4, 15, 14, 10 BC, 11, 12, and new fence 16 is an ox that comes into the equation then. And that is going to be our jump off for the 2 to go head to head. Ken Farrington and Carl Cook, both at the USA. So it's going to be a home nation win, certainly from that point of view. And Ken Farrington against Carl Cook is certainly going to be Nothing if not exciting. Eugenio Garza alongside me to see the final closing stages here. He's probably going to go with his Helios teammate here, Carl Cook, who's been riding so many good rounds through the season. Ken Farrington kicks us off, the winner here last night as well with Orofina. As we've said several times, Eugenio, I don't think I can pick between these two.
I don't think I can either, but you know, Helios is Helios, team spirit. I gotta go with Carl, but he's got a tall task ahead of him. With Kent going first, maybe that helps him a little bit. But if Kent lays it down, I mean, it's very tough to beat Kent when he's on fire, especially with this mare. She's very fast, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, away we go. Ken Farrington to go first. Put the pressure on Carl Cook as the second of the lineup for this Grand Prix. And Kent to go with Orofina. Grand Prix winner in Oshawa this season as well, and now having claimed the individual title for Major League Jumping 2 into 2022. Again, here, as we talked about, Eugenio, there's nothing to hold back here. They're not going to be protecting anything. You're just going to go.
Yeah, you got to lay it down as fast as possible, especially Kent. Worst case scenario, second, still pretty good. So go out there and make it as difficult as you can for Carl.
So stacked out to watch these two go toe-to-toe for the title of this Marshall and Sterling Grand Prix here this evening. Wind up to 4, then back to fence 15, the Calladay this time. Really good chase down to what was 14 the last on course. Major League double as it is now. This again, foot speed is so fast here.
She's a fast mare. This is a fast round.
Chase down here to the last, and that is blistering. 35-27, one of the best you'll see. Ken Farrington and Orofina. Catch me if you can, Carl Cook. Phew.
That was quick.
Would you want to go for that?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I'd love to be in the jump off, but
yeah.
I would hate to be chasing Kent, especially after that round. But Carl knows what he has to do. You know, go out there and get it.
Yeah, Ken Farrington. Potential to claim this one here. It gets ever higher with that fast round, 35-27. You watch that obviously very closely. I don't think he's left much meat on the bone, even if the tiniest scrap there, really.
Yeah, you know, he was fast. 1, 2, 3 to the double. He's fast. Luckily for Carl, it's not a long run to the double because he, you know, he's mentioned before that the mare doesn't like that. So
yeah.
To turn to the double, so that helps him. And then I think Carl can probably beat him to the last Oxer. He can turn a little bit tighter, but very, very small margin.
Yeah, very small margin. This is what it is. Top Sport gets down to seconds, split seconds. That makes all the difference. Carl Cook then, Hampton Classic Grand Prix winning combination with Kalinka for the Californian. Can he bring it home here in the Desert Horse Park? So leading is Ken Farrington on 35-27 in about 3/4 of a minute. We'll know exactly what they've got. Here we go. Nice move to start off with. Good move away. He's holding nothing back here.
So that's the same. That was 8 and 11, same as Kent. We checked there.
But needed to by the look of that.
Yep. Gets to 5.
No,
inside track to Kent. This is going to be tight.
This is going to be tight, as you say. This is where he can chase. He's going to be down to the fractions. 34-84. He gets it. He gets it. Carl Cook is your winner here in California. The West Coaster is the #1 through the Marshall and Sterling Grand Prix. What a battle between those two. What a treat to watch. Ken Farrington giving it everything at 35-27. But he did just find that little morsel of meat off the bone to get it. Look at that.
Good. That was great. I mean, Kent rode it perfectly.
Yeah.
I think he almost shut the door completely. I mean, it was a fast round, and like I said, Kalinka jumping so well, so careful. Carl, great riding, does it again.
Absolutely. So Carl
2
Cook,
for 2.
Carl Cook, 2 for 2, as you say, team class this week and the Grand Prix as well. Claims his second major 5-star Grand Prix. Your teammate has had an amazing week.
Amazing week and an amazing year. So glad to see him cap it off with a win at the last show of the year for him. Well deserved. You know, he's been riding great all year, and this combination is just on fire. They both deserve it, really.
Well, great way to finish off the series with the Grand Prix here for Carl Cook to sail away with the win. Flowing locks flying, lovely results, and so Carl Cook finishes number 1, Kent Farrington number 2, third place at the end, Tiffany Foster, Daniel Corlin 4th, and Darren Kenny top 5. There's the completed lineup. 6th place to Jordan Coyle and Russo, Ashley Bond of Israel and Donatello in 7th, 8th there for Amy Miller and Truman, 9th to Arturo Parada and Bacot, and 10th place to Juan Ortiz and Vintage, the final top 10 in his $450,000 Marshall & Sterling Grand Prix here tonight. Our thanks to the Desert Horse Park for being host for the last couple of weeks. My huge thanks to Eugenio Garza joining throughout the evening for the Grand Prix here. Eugenio, safe trip back to home, and I'll be seeing you over the winter, I'm sure.
Thank you for having me, Stephen. It was a pleasure. See you soon.
See you soon. Well done to Team Helios this year, that he's been a huge part of. Carl Cook will keep raising their flag here with the Grand Prix win, and we'll take another look at that round in just a moment and catch up with our winning rider as well in a moment or two. Take a look at this round from Carl Cook. As Eugenio said, good start. They were on the same stride pattern down those first early fences. And as Eugenio was saying, just a really good shot for him to take a fast chase to the final fence. Got an inside track by the look of it on Kent Farrington's turn there, and then just all out the last to get home in 34.84, and the clear there, and punches the air, and deservedly so. Look at that. Second 5-star Grand Prix of the season for them. Well done to Carl Cook. Doubles that up with the Hampton Classic this year. It's been quite the year in 2022 for Carl Cook. The Californian will keep the trophy at home here at the Desert Horse Park. So that presentation coming up, and also to our series champions as well for our top 3 there too. So well done to them. There's the final lineup, and we're going to catch up in just a moment with our winning rider. It's just Carl Cook just walking off Kalinka at this point, and it will be along to get his elated excitement at a home win here for Carl, with the big win here as we're rounding off the series for Major League Show Jumping for 2022. Nice stuff indeed. Top stuff, top draw all the way, and well done to each of those. Tough course, well done Alan Wade. It's been a really interesting class to watch. Those somewhat further down the line to Erin Ballard in 12th place on the 8, James Arkins, Sean Jobin, and to Paul O'Shea. So we're going to be heading into our presentation. It looks like Kalinka, a fantastic horse. She's certainly got her own quirks, and they'll be riding her in just a few moments' time. She is a star. So we are moments away from the presentations here at the Desert Horse Park. Looks like Carl's getting set to join us for the interview. And so we'll get Carl's excited take on how he beat one of the world's best and established himself with his second 5-star Grand Prix of the year.
And so we are going to throw that to
So lovely evening here, a little bit on the chilly side in the desert. A beautiful day. And the team getting ready for the presentation. Here's Carl.
Well, Carl, huge congratulations. Just two of you through to the jump off, and your time was just incredible. Talk us through that round a bit. Where do you think you won it?
I don't know. We had 1 to 2, pretty much the same carbon copy. I think maybe I was a bit faster to 14 and landing from 14, but then I lost time adding to the double, which I have to do on her. But then I think really it was from fence 11 to the end. I was a little bit inside track to fence 12 and caught it just right, and then the 6 home just kept going.
And this mare is just exceptional, isn't she? And I could see quite a lot of emotion from your team. What does this win mean to you?
I mean, we've been through so much with her, and, you know, it's just great what she's doing, and we just love her so much.
And now this win also means that you are second in the overall season championship. What a year for you. Can you just sum up how that's been for you?
It's been a great year. You know, we've had a number of issues, but we've overcome them together, and, you know, to end the season like this is just, it's fantastic.
And you've enjoyed jumping on the Major League show jumping circuit again?
Of course I have, and I can't wait to do it again next year.
Huge congratulations. How will you be celebrating tonight?
Drinking. A lot.
Well, enjoy.
Thank you.
So our champion right there, Carl, and he's working about 38. And also remember, after the presentation, join us at the Road Riders TV bar. And DJ Montas will be over there at the Road Riders TV bar. And remember, of course, all purchases also goes to his village. So that number, 48,000 to $41,000, that will climb even more. And good thanks to John and John Company, building that custom your audience at village expense. We won the first round. So we go on break. And raise almost $49,000. Top three back in the ring. Top three from the Marshall and Sterling $450,000 FBI 5-star Major League show jumping Grand Prix. Bring our top three back in the ring.
And so getting set for the presentations. 2 presentations to come up for you with the overall championship and the Grand Prix top 3 from tonight's big class. Top 3 for the class being Carl Cook, Kent Farrington, and Tiffany Foster with a really good ride-off for the title of this Grand Prix win, the Marshall and Sterling Grand Prix, and then Kent Farrington also walking away with a pretty good week. He'd have loved to have claimed this class too, but still walks away with the individual championship from Major League Jumping.
Top 3, we will do presentations for the individual top 3 from the Grand Prix. Also from the season, our top 3 individuals as well. So our top 3, USA, and Canada. We'll bring our riders in with the crews as well as their horses.
And the applause coming up as the top 3 head on in for the presentation. Congratulations to them. In 3rd place there, it is Tiffany Foster and the Hamilton Group's Hamilton. Second place to Kent Farrington and the lovely Orofina.
What an amazing ride for the USA in second, Kent Farrington.
And the winning pairing out there as well, with Carl Cook and Kalinka. So top two for the USA and third for Canada. There's Carl. Kalinka, not so easy on the ground. She's got a great fiery personality, superb horse, and gets him another big result. Sit tight. They're just going to... They're in position. Well practiced at this, going to hop off.
And Silver will get our top three out to that podium. After lots of congratulations along their way. And we'll get them to step behind their respective positions. With Tiffany Foster in third, Kent Farrington in second, Carl Cook in first place. That covers gold, bronze, silver, and gold positions.
And top three taking position. And in third, Tiffany Foster of Canada with the Hamilton Group's Hamilton. Welcome forward our presenters, Don Graves and Marshall and Sterling, joined by Robin, Sandy Meadows, Christina and Jeremy Smith, and Catherine Harvey representing the partners here to present.
Second place, that is Kent Farrington for the USA.
Second place there going to Kent Farrington. Getting his congratulations with Orofina.
So the bronze medal to Tiffany Foster, silver to Kent Farrington. Just one more person to introduce. That is the winning rider of the
And finally, the winner of the Grand Prix here tonight, the Marshall and Sterling Grand Prix victor. Well done to Carl Cook and Kalinka. We'll get a photo with the presenters and our leading lineup from the Grand Prix before we head on to the championship presentation.
What an exciting jump off. Carl Cook and Kent Farrington finishing off in that jump off round. So two of the fastest riders on the planet.
The flowers aloft.
First, second, and third from the FBI 5-star Midget show jumping out Grand Prix.
And the national anthem of our winning rider. Congratulations to Carl Cook, of course, the United States of America. And well done to our top three there. We'll then move on to the championship conclusion. Just going to get a photo, I think, with our leading lights from this class.
$100,000 in total prize money in bonus money for the top three. The top three. And we have Ken Farrington taking the overall top spot over the 10 series, 10 legs of the series. Carl Cook in the second. And Ashley Bond in third. So Ashley Bond in third place. That is from the season Major League.
And so we're joined by the lady who's third in the championship race. A little change around on top of the podium, as Ashley Bond was third in the overall championship. Carl Cook was second. And Kent Farrington was with the winner of the championship overall.
And one more time, the top three overall Major League show jumping. Kent Farrington will take the overall lion's share of that bonus money. Carl Cook, second place overall with 10 legs. Ashley Bond, third overall as well. So top three in the overall half of the series. That's Kent Farrington, Carl Cook, and Ashley Bond. So runners, great job. And such a fun series, Major League show jumping. Will be 10 legs of competition all throughout North America. And we'll have the final 2 legs part of the Desert Holiday Series.
And holding aloft for the top three in the overall championship. Ashley Bond, Carl Cook, and the winner of 2022. It is well done to Kent Farrington.
Clock starts to happen. We're going to take some of those flowers away. Actually, we'll take all the flowers away. That's not a problem.
So champagne time for all involved. Carl Cook getting a little retribution, I think, from the other night. And Kent Farrington saying, have that. Oh, and Tiffany still can't get the top off it. Not going anywhere. You've got glass? Cheers. So set to remount for the top three for our Grand Prix. Congratulations to them all. Thank you to all the team behind Major League Show Jumping in 2022. Lifting up to another level this year on the second year of this championship series, and going to round it out with 2 massive wins this week for Carl Cook, both in the team competition for Team Helios and now with Kalinka in the Grand Prix. The final lap of honour of this year will be back, of course, into 2023. Looking forward to that, looking to kick off next season back into Vancouver again. It's late May. In the meantime, we wish you all safe travels wherever you're headed, and a final victory gallop for the season. Led off by our final winner, the man of the moment. What a week for Californian Carl Cook as he brings home the trophies here with a win in the team class and now in the Marshall & Sterling Grand Prix. Carl Cook is your winner, claiming the $450,000 class and an individual championship win for Ken Farrington. It stays right to the wire, right to the end. It's very exciting. And this is Major League.
Tomorrow, and the final date of the Desert Holiday Series. How about one for races 3 and 7?
We have a new